One of our favorites is Mike Schmitz. And Mike, when we watched that finals not long ago, the idea that Golden State and Cleveland will be anywhere near the lottery, let alone 1-2, would have been unthinkable. But here we are. That's where they would be if there were no more games played in this season. And as we look towards the NBA's draft, where would they be looking at the top?
Well, Golden State has a plethora of options here when you're talking about James Wiseman, you're talking about Anthony Edwards, and potentially LaMelo Ball. And every scout, every GM, every executive I talked to all year called this a needs-based draft. Okay, this is a fit draft. They don't see a transcendent talent. So when you look at Golden State's roster, that's where Wiseman makes some sense. Okay, I think he could be kind of a DeAndre Jordan, what DeAndre Jordan was for CP and for Blake Griffin. He could be that for the Splash Brothers as a rim runner, lob catcher, shot blocker. And then you have Anthony Edwards also, who's a very talented three-level scorer. So there's that talk about the fit. There's that talk about this being a needs-based draft. Personally, if I had to pick, I would still go with LaMelo Ball. I think he's the most talented prospect in the draft. I've said it on this show, and I'd be very interested to see his fit in that style. You know, this is a team that likes to get up and down. They like to shoot threes. They like to play off of instincts. Steph is not a point guard who traditionally really pounds the ball or needs it in his hands. And I think it'd be a great place for a guy like LaMelo Ball to develop. So, but that's Bob Myers', job to answer those questions whenever the draft is.
One piece of the equation, Mike, that we won't have that we've had in recent years is I presume anyway, is Chicago, where the prospects can come in and take a look, and NBA folks can take a look at them to see where things fit. So in the absence of that, you believe that perhaps that's actually beneficial to NBA teams in terms of their drafting, because why?
Well, I think it's going to force teams to focus more on the body of work. It's going to force them to really dive in and watch film. They're not going to be distracted by some of these pre-draft workouts, by some of these agency pro days where, frankly, it's just guys shooting jump shots in an empty gym. And then you get some of the recency bias that comes along with workouts. And I think it's going to force teams to really lock in on what type of players were they in college. They can't spend a bunch of time with these players, sit down with them, get to know them, especially the top prospects. And then there are some of those riser types who would have really benefited from a combine, from a Nike Hoop Summit. So clearly this is not an ideal situation, but I do think that teams can make the best of it by really locking in, studying film, and not getting fooled by some of that recency bias that comes along with the pre-draft process.
Well, we know one thing for sure. What it's been, it won't be, and we will all try to do our best, whether it's setting up a shot to be on a show, whether it's guys trying to get to the NBA, whatever it is, we're all just going to try to do our best, Mike. We appreciate all your efforts to join us here on the show.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.